Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker. I want to take this time in this video to chat to you guys about first-time buyers. And I'm not necessarily going to talk about any particular market. This is a question I get a lot. So I do end up with a lot of first-time buyers and they're very confused about what to buy, how to buy, what the process looks like. I'm going to take this video and just try to break it down for you guys in a very easy way. Number one thing is that if you're looking at buying real estate, you need to work with a mortgage broker right away. The first thing you need to know is what you can actually qualify for. And that's going to really determine what you're going to be able to buy. You don't want to be running around looking at $700,000 homes when you can only qualify for $550,000. There is going to be a big difference on what we can actually do. Number one step always is to have your financials in check and get a mortgage broker to review it and run a pre-approval for you so we know what we are shopping for. The next step after that is basically looking at what you can qualify for and figuring out what type of property that meets in with. Now, guys, when you get, for example, a $600,000 approval, we got to find out, is that for a freehold property or is that for a condo property? Because there is going to be a difference. Likely with a condo property, you're going to have a monthly fee to pay. So now if you got approved for $600,000 on a freehold property, but we're looking at condos for $600,000, you probably won't get approved for that, especially if you have a monthly fee of say, $380 a month. Well, that actually accounts to almost $100,000 worth of having a mortgage. If you have a $380 monthly fee, that's like adding $100,000 to your qualifications. Realistically, if you have a $600,000 approval and you have a $380 maintenance fee, you'll probably be able to qualify for $700,000 when you take into account that maintenance fee. Very important to find out what your approval is so we could target the right type of property. When it comes down to properties, there's really three different type of properties. So what we have is a freehold property, which is basically there's no maintenance fees whatsoever. You own the property it sits on, you own the house that it sits on. It could be a townhouse, it could be a semi, it could be a detached property, but you own that house and you own the property completely. There's no maintenance fees attached to it whatsoever. There's another common one, which is a condo corporation. That's a condo building. You can have a condo townhouse, and believe it or not, you can actually have a condo detached property as well. Basically what this is that you have more or less exclusive rights to that unit itself. Everything is part of a condo building, a condo corporation, but you have a right to use that unit. The next thing is a little bit trickier. We're seeing more and more of it, which is basically called a PODL, a property that's part of a tied land. What that basically means is this: the road that you would drive on is basically part of a condo corporation, but the property would be freehold. So the land that the house sits on and the house itself would be considered freehold. Likely these have a lower maintenance fee. These are starting to become a little bit more popular because as land gets tighter and tighter, the developers want to build more and more houses into this piece of land. A city would basically regulate how much space you need to have for a road, how much space you need to have for a sidewalk on each side, a boulevard space. And basically, if you cannot meet these requirements as a developer and you want to go tighter than that, then you're going to basically say, hey, we're going to deal with our own snow removal. You don't have to assume this road. We're going to deal with our own possibly garbage pickup and whatnot. And what they do is that they call it a PODL and they add in a small maintenance fee. Sometimes it's $100, it could be $200, depending on the property that we're talking about. In these type of properties, you would actually own the property itself that your house sits on, the house itself, but the road that you drive on, you don't own that road. City doesn't even assume that road, so it's part of a condo corporation, so your fees are lower. Those fees still need to get added into whatever you're going to be approved for overall. These are the different type of properties that we actually run across. The next step beyond that is basically figuring out what your budget is and what type of property that we're trying to get into, and it will vary depending on the area. There could be properties, if you want to be in Toronto and if you have a $600,000 budget, then likely you're going to end up in a condo. But if you have a $600,000 budget and you really want to get a townhouse, a freehold townhouse, then you're probably going to have to be further east or further west and whatnot. Your qualifying really makes a difference over here. That would be the starting point of what you actually want to get at. Beyond that, what I would say is that it's very helpful for you to actually test the different type of products that are out there and figure out which one is best for you. Whenever I'm taking first-time home buyers out, I'm not expecting for them to commit to buying a property from me right away, the property that we're going to go see. Because what I want to do is I want to basically take you out and show you with your $600,000 qualification, we can go out and buy this condo because this is $500,000 plus the maintenance fee. This is what you're going to end up with. And then I want to drive you over to Oshawa or Curtis and say, hey, this is what you're actually going to be able to get over here. So you can actually compare for yourself what actually works for you. So I think this is a really good approach for first-time buyers. And for me to just recap for you guys very quickly, the number one thing you need to do is you need to get a pre-approval for a mortgage. And that's really going to dictate what we're going to be able to do. It's going to tell us what type of property that we could buy and what area we're going to be able to buy in depending on what your criteria is. The other thing also is that what I would say to first-time home buyers, it could be unfortunate right now, but things really haven't changed that much. I bought my first property when I was 21. I had to settle. I could only get a mortgage qualification of $120,000 at that time. So I had to settle for something that I really didn't care for. It was okay. My point with all of this is that I think on your first property, especially where prices are right now and what the market is that you're probably going to have to settle. If you don't settle right now and try to just work with what you have, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. In my previous videos, I have mentioned that I believe that in GTA, overall home ownership is going to become harder and harder and harder, because if you look at the rate that the prices actually grow versus what your income grows at, you're actually going to start to get outpriced in the market. Another very simple example of this is this. I actually do well in my business, but I actually do a lot better in investing in real estate for myself. A simple example is this. I bought a townhouse in Pickering for $340,000 in 2015, and I just bought the same townhouse more or less in 2021 for $620,000 as an investment as well. If I didn't start with my first piece that I didn't really care for that much, but I know I needed to get in the market, it would be nearly impossible for me to actually do what I do right now in terms of investment. My strong advice to you as first-time home buyers is that, look, everything looks great on HGTV and Instagram and people's lives look awesome, but you're gonna have to basically figure out what your budget is and try to get into that and be smart about having to pay it down, build up that equity, and be able to move on to the next piece. Another piece of advice I give a lot of people is this. The first piece that you buy, you may not necessarily like, but the way I would like to leverage that, and if we work with a smart agent and we work with a smart mortgage person, the first property that you buy, I would love to ideally not sell that for you. That's right. I'm a realtor. I'm telling you, I don't want you to sell your first property, because what I want to do for you is I want to turn that into a rental property. I want you to be able to take that property, pull the equity out of that property, go buy the house that you're more comfortable in, and turn your original property into an investment property, a rental property, because that price has gone up already. So why not capitalize on that? I run across people that want to sell their house, they want to buy a house, and they want to buy an investment, but they're actually sitting in their investment property right now. And there are smarter ways for you to tap into that equity and move forward and build a bigger portfolio. If you guys have any questions about this stuff, this is what I'm passionate about. I've been doing this for the last 16 or 17 years for myself. I feel like I have a proven track record, and I would love to talk to you guys about it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to get on a Zoom call with you. Until the next time, remember one thing, guys, get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.